Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So today we're playing the S-147, which is of the S-100 class. It's battle rating 2.7, rank 3 in the German tech tree, and I kind of missed the point when it was actually renamed. Its successor, the S-100 class S-100, same overall capabilities, has in the back a 37mm, whereas the outstanding armament on the S-147 is the 30mm Mk103, which is bow mounted. It has only 30 round clips, but it has some heavy punch. It feels almost like the Russian 30mm that you can find on the PR-206. And as you can see, together with all the 20mm, where you have in the middle of the ship a twin, and in the back you actually have a Wirbelwind mount or a quad mount. Yeah, you can actually unleash quite the Daka. And this is a low tier match, and I absolutely went on a rampage here. So we go to A, it's the far cap, and then we try to successively go into B and shoot our way through. And it is again African coast, my favorite map, both for capital ships, destroyers, cruisers, and also patrol boats. It's actually one of those maps that is wonderfully balanced and designed. One of the big benefits is that the vegetation is rather barren, because what I really get upset about in my destroyer cruiser battleships fights is when I have to kind of shoot over an island and even my 16-inch shells get caught by a tree. That's just not cool. Now, the thing that you can use this ship as well for is that you have 4 torpedoes, whereas you have 2 actual launch tubes and then 1 set of reloads, together with the EMF mine, of which you have 4, which have the rather high bursting charge of 448 kilograms of TNT equivalent. That is even heavier than the torpedoes themselves, the well-known G7As, which have 360 kilograms. And you can then interchange this also if you want to have the depth charges, but they are really specialized. So I would go with the combination of 4 torpedoes, 4 mines, and then unleash the Daka. The one thing that is rather nice about the 30mm is that, as I mentioned before, it has a rather big oomph, and I get a surprising amount of magazine detonations on enemy patrol boats with it. But one of the belts with the API has a rather high penetration, which comes in handy when you then have to deal with the armored Russian river patrol boats, if the normal API shell in the normal belt wouldn't be enough. And it is just impressive to do this drive-by with that rather high volume on even rather big patrol boats. Although how susceptible those enemy patrol boats are to your incoming damage from your 20s and from your 30mm in particular, very often is a bit of a mystery. It can be explained with the wood thickness, or if they have like some sort of steel armor. It is not always clear, and not every weapon corresponds to the equivalent amount of TNT. Some 40mm are weaker than some 37mm or 30mm, and that is really interesting to say the least. So as you can see, we are in a really good spot behind an island, and yes, I noticed those are a lot of bots that we just shred, but this is low tier. Now, at the end of the video you can kind of see the results, and as you can see by the video length, it wasn't too long. It is to a certain extent cool and fun, but not that rewarding, and I think that this is one of the big problems with the grind in War Thunder when it comes to patrol boats. With destroyers you have to put in significantly more work to get a kill on an enemy destroyer, same with cruiser and so forth. But the thing is that with patrol boats you can see that you can shred them easily. And Gaijin never really have addressed the RP modifiers after the tech tree split. And so when they increased kind of the RP requirements for the rank 4 and 5 patrol boats, then there was a significant gap in terms of research performance. The problem is that when you get to kill bots, and most of the time we kill bots, the reward per kill isn't that high and doesn't get valued in the after battle calculations. And so even if you rack up a really impressive amount of kills, it doesn't count for too much. And I can endure it if I have a lot of Taka Taka to show for, but very often you just still have long queue times, you have a lot of up tiers versus destroyers where you then have to either hope for them to drive in a straight line, not to shoot you, where you then can finish them with a torpedo, or work hard around them from cover with artillery strikes. But that takes so long and is just not comparative, or is not to be compared with the frantic shooting that we have here in patrol boats. But there are several things that I want to highlight. This is a World War II era patrol boat, and it has all the style and aesthetics and weaponry that you would associate with that kind of time frame. And sometimes you still have to fight ships or boats that are post-World War II with ridiculous overall handling and weaponry, or both. And this is a lot of compression going on even at this low battle rating. And some of those ships, they have some weird armor, and that just then eats all your incoming fire. So even though we have this rather powerful 30mm, if you have some sort of feedback feeling for the individual shells hitting, especially when I go in bow in, I noticed this during a lot of battles, it has a lot of punch. But then there are ships where you do absolutely no damage to. So whereas we just mopped the floor with them in this battle, 19 kills, 1 plane, that would be a quadruple ace, technically speaking, but most of them were actual bots. And so this is the special highlight, that we killed so many, and it was really cool that our plan actually works and we didn't get ambushed. It was a cool battle to show, and in a relatively short time frame. And this is what I wanted to show you for a change. That was a really fun battle for me. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it. And as usual, we will see each other on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.